Hello, internet knitting friends and family and friends who aren't knitters but watch to support me. Hello, thank you. I'm alive. I'm here. We moved. I survived. And welcome to my new knitting room. This is just one little corner of it, and I have all of my windows are over here. And the sun is finally my knitting room is east facing, so it is like the face of the sun in the morning. So the sun is finally going that way, so I can sit close to the window and not roast to death. Anyway, hi, hello, I'm back. If you're new here, my name is Melissa, and this is the Stitches Be Slippin' YouTube channel. It's mainly a podcast about knitting, but sometimes other types of fiber crafts or just any type of craft or whatever I go down a rabbit hole doing because I have ADHD and sometimes I get distracted. I do have the windows open because it's still quite warm in here, so you're probably going to hear cars driving by like this right now, but hopefully you can put up with that. Yeah. Hi, I'm back. It's been a long time. I looked in my notes and my last episode was over a month ago, so thank you for your patience, waiting for me to come back. I know you've all been like losing sleep, worrying about me, wondering where I am. But yeah, I'm back. And I have been knitting, not as much as like a normal time period because it's been a really busy a month and a bit, really busy. So I'm gonna do some general life stuff updates before I go into knitting and etc. So I'll put a little thing down here where to skip to if you want to just skip to the knitting portion. Yeah, so I have been knitting as much as I can, obviously not as much as I would like to because it's been very busy, but I have been able to knit a lot more because my hands are feeling way better. I finally got into the rheumatologist. That was over a month ago now, almost 6 weeks ago now. I think I was just almost going in my last episode. Anyway, I got an official diagnosis. Hey guys, guess what? I have rheumatoid arthritis, just like we thought. So that's good. He gave me a steroid injection in my butt on the spot. And that made everything, because everything was very swollen and painful by the time I got back into there, or by the time I got to see him. And yeah, so he's got me on proper rheumatoid arthritis medication now. It is called methotrexate, and just saying the name makes me a little bit nauseous. Yeah, I take it once a week. I have to give myself injections once a week, and yeah, that's already still. Sorry about if anybody is a little nauseous about talking about that kind of stuff like that. I didn't used to be, I am now. I have the option of going to oral. I have a phone appointment with my rheumatologist tomorrow, so I'm gonna ask him about that. Just the idea of giving myself injections makes me very nauseous and anxious, let alone like the medication itself makes me really nauseous for the first few days after I take it. My throat is like, because I do my dose on, let's call it, on Sunday nights. So Mondays are a little gross. Today is Tuesday. It's still like a little bit when I think about it. But anyway, my hands are feeling way better. They were like back to normal. They're totally back to normal right now. My steroid injection that he gave me was supposed to last about a month. So it's like when I wake up in the mornings, they're a little bit sore, but it's like super minor. Goes away within a little bit and everything's totally fine. So hooray! I can get back to my knitting and my life. Thank goodness, because we moved. It was a huge, huge ordeal. I mean, I know people move all the time. I don't know how they do it without losing their minds. I guess maybe it was just the way we set up our move, because we sold our house, we gave up possession of our house, and then we had like 3 days in between before we got possession of this house. Never mind that there was a fucking shit show of when we sold our house. They were supposed to get possession close the deal and get possession on the Monday, and we were supposed to get this house on the Thursday. We found out on Monday morning they hadn't even been approved for a mortgage yet. So that quickly turned into just an absolute gong show of them trying to get financing and having to agree to extensions every day, and them having to pay us interest on the money to close every day. And like, I'm pretty sure it shaved like a year or two off my husband's life. It was very, very stressful. But it all got done in the end. Thankfully, we finally closed our old house on Wednesday, and we got this house on the Thursday. This was in April, not this week. Yeah, so that did go a little crazy, a little sideways. But then, yeah, so we got possession of this house, and as soon as we got possession of this house, we had our trades in here. We got most of the house painted, and then we did some carpeting and flooring up here in the upstairs. Yeah, so that took almost 2 weeks, and we were living at Dave's mom's house, like across the city for those 2 weeks. So it wasn't fun, but we did it. It was a lot of driving, went through a lot of gas, driving the boys back and forth to school because they live close to here, not close to there. And yeah, it was a lot, but we did it, and we're moved in. Our movers were amazing. There's all kinds of side stories I could tell you, but I won't bore you. But they were great. And so they moved everything in. They had to move everything into the garage because we couldn't move everything in because we were having all this work done. So they moved everything into the garage. And then once all the work was done, me and Dave and my brother, hi Darren, thank you so much. He helped us move everything in out of the garage, like the beds and all that kind of stuff, so we could move in and actually live in here. And then we had to get a storage pod that we'd had in storage since we tried to sell our house in January. So then the movers came back and moved all that stuff in, so we didn't have to, because we were tired of moving things up and downstairs. We moved from a bungalow to a 2-story, so our legs are still getting used to all the stairs. And my tea mug and my water bottle are always on the wrong floor, and so we're getting used to living in a 2-story. We also are getting used to a house that actually like retains its heat and doesn't leach its heat all out into the outside. So we're always hot in here. We're always sweating because we're used to a 1951 bungalow that no matter how high you turned the thermostat, it never stayed warm in there. And now we're in a house that actually has proper insulation, and we're hot all the time. So we're dealing with that, but that's a good problem to have. Yeah, I feel like I went on a tangent there, but I can't remember what I was talking about. Just moving and stuff. Yeah, so we've been in here for, I think, 2 weeks now-ish. And my ADHD and hyperfocus has come in very handy, and and the fact that I no longer have a job, so my days are open when the boys go to school, and we're I would say entirely unpacked. There's still like various things sitting around that need to be hung up. We still have to figure out where we're gonna hang things and kind of like move furniture around and see where. But everything is, I think, unpacked, so yay! Now I can get back to somewhat of a normal life. I don't know what that is gonna look like now that I don't have a job. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But anyway, we also, in between moving out of our old house and living at my mother-in-law's house and then moving into this house, in between there, Dave and I also went to San Diego for a long weekend. It was Dave is part of the executive management team at his work, his office. And every year they go on a management retreat and they have meetings one day. All of the spouses come and we like make a weekend out of it. So we went to San Diego for it this year. We went to a baseball game one night, the San Diego Padres. That was really fun. When we went, our last trip last year was to Chicago, and Dave and I by ourselves went to a White Sox game, but it was on a Thursday night and it was kind of cold out, so there were like maybe 1,000 people in the stands. Like it was dead. There was nobody there. And it was the very beginning of the baseball season too. And this is still like the same time of year, very beginning of the baseball season. But we went on a Friday night and it was packed. Like there were thousands and thousands of people in there, and it was a really fun vibe. We had a lot of fun. Dave's work was paying for everything. So we got a really nice box suite. So we sat, our box suite was right along the third base, like foul line at the end. So there actually was a home run hit into our box and hit one of the ladies that was there with us. I was actually head down knitting at the time and had no idea what happened. I was like, what happened? They're like, she just got hit by a home run. So yeah, I was knitting. I hopefully have put pictures up of me knitting in the box at the baseball game and all that kind of jazz. What else did we do? We were staying at a beautiful hotel on the beach in Coronado in San Diego. And it was like right on the beach. There's like big, huge, long beach both ways. We went for nice long walks on the beach. One end of the beach was what this was called the North Island Naval Station, which is where they filmed a bunch of scenes from the Top Gun Maverick movie. And if you've been here long enough, you know that Top Gun is my favorite movie of all time, and followed very closely by Top Gun Maverick. So I went for a walk down the beach on the Friday when Dave was having his meetings. I went for a walk down the beach to, like, there's this big fence. It's like Navy, US military, don't enter, blah, blah, blah. So I walked down there and like took a peek through the fence, because that was the beach where they filmed the dogfight football scenes in the Maverick movie. If you've seen it, you know, Miles Teller doing his little dance with no shirt. Yeah. And then while he was in his meetings during the day on Friday, I also went to a local yarn store in San Diego called Apricot Yarn Shop, and that was really nice. It was in an area that was also very close to the location of another filming location from the first Top Gun movie, and it's where after Charlie makes Maverick look really bad in their meeting, telling him that he was making dumb decisions flying or whatever, and then he storms out and goes and gets on his motorbike and storms away. So like that scene where he goes down the stairs and gets on his motorbike, I went there, so I'll put a picture up here. And then that scene continues and she gets in her car and chases him up this hill, and they park and then they yell at each other and then they start making out. And I went to that location too, which is nowhere near the first location. But there was like a big palm tree that they were standing under in that scene, and I was gonna go take a picture of myself there, and the big palm tree is gone, so it would have just been just a picture of me on the street. And then there was a Trader Joe's really close to the yarn store. So I went there because we don't have Trader Joe's in Canada. I had very limited bag space, so I couldn't go and buy a whole bunch of stuff, but I got some really good gluten-free chocolate chunk cookies with sea salt. They were delicious. If anyone ever wants to send me some stuff, send me some of those. They're really good. I'll give you my address. And what else did we do? On the Saturday, we had the all-day Saturday free just to hang out, me and Dave together, which was really nice. So we went for a walk on the beach. I'll put a picture up here. And we went to the USS Midway, which is a retired aircraft carrier that lives in the port at San Diego. And they have converted it into a museum. So you can go and walk all over below decks. And there's like this basically like a tour, like an audio tour that you can do. It was really, really neat. Massive, massive, massive. And they had all the awesome aircraft on the deck of the aircraft carrier. So we saw F-14, which was what they flew in the first Top Gun movie. We saw F-18, which is what they flew in the second movie. And then after that, we went to a restaurant called Kansas City Barbecue, which is just a hop and a skip away from the aircraft carrier. And it is where they filmed the scene in the first Top Gun movie where Maverick and Goose's wife and child, and of course, Kelly McGillis, Charlie, where they go out for dinner together, and then Goose goes and sings Great Balls of Fire and plays the piano. So we went to that restaurant where they filmed those scenes. So they'll take a picture here. This is Dave and I sitting in the corner where they filmed, where they were like sitting at the table talking. And then I got to sit at the piano where Goose played Great Balls of Fire. And I'll put the picture up there. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite picture of me that has ever been taken of all time. It's so good. There was actually a picture on the piano of Miles Teller, who plays Rooster in Maverick in the second movie, sitting in that same chair at that same piano. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so we had a really fun time in San Diego. It was really nice. We were like in the middle of all this chaos, and we were like, oh, I can't believe we're going on this trip right now. And it was really nice because we could just relax. There was nothing that we had to do or needed to do or could do. So we were able to just relax and hang out. So that was really nice. And speaking of Top Gun, yesterday apparently was Top Gun Day. So I was scrolling through Instagram, and there were these posts about Happy Top Gun Day. It was 38 years since the first movie was released. So I sat my ass down on the couch and watched Top Gun yesterday while the kids are at school. Kind of celebrating being all unpacked and just kind of taking a day to rest and hang out. So that was great too. Okay, I think I shall talk about knitting now. So welcome back to all of you people who don't care about my life. Just kidding. It's fine. I'm sitting here holding this. I was like, I'm halfway through knitting ribbing, but I don't know if I can do that without looking at you guys. So anyway, I need to get to the end of this round because this is one of my whips that I'm going to show you. So what I'm wearing today, this is called Velocore, and it's by Andrea Mowry, who is Drea Renee Knits on Instagram. I haven't worn this for quite a while. This was in storage actually, and it's more of a spring, summer type knit anyway, so I wasn't wearing it in the winter. But I really love the fit of it. Like, it's boxy, it's like, I really love this shape. It's basically like a square, and then you add some ribbing. So obviously bottom up, but there's no shaping. You just get to the top, and then you add this ribbing and 3 needle bind off, and you're done. So I really enjoyed it. The pattern's not hard to follow. It's just fingering weight, so it takes a while. But other than that, I loved it. I love making it. Tempted to make another one, but I don't have any plans at the moment. This beige yarn is from Amelia and Philomene I bought it at Knit City in Montreal. I'm pretty sure they're in Quebec. I don't know if they're in Montreal particularly. And the variegated is from Megs & Co. and they're in New York. And that yarn was a gift from my friend Karen, who I went to Knit City Montreal with, actually. So yeah, I used less than a full skein of each color on this, but this is obviously one of the smaller sizes. But yeah, I really enjoyed knitting it. It's fun and it's easy to wear. Really like it. That's all I have to say about that. What have I got to show you? I really should have been doing this while I was talking about my life, but I wasn't. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 FOs. I'm only going to show you 4 of them. I'll put a picture up. Maybe I'll talk about that right now as I'm doing this. The other day I posted it on my Instagram because I think people were probably wondering if I had died during the move because I haven't been really posting anything lately. Dave was a little chilly the other day and needed a blanket to sit on our new couch in our new living room. And he went downstairs. I was just thinking, are there still boxes down there? I don't think there are. I think I unpacked them. That's where our like surplus of blankets is living at the moment, is downstairs in our spare room. So he went downstairs and got a blanket that I had crocheted him, I don't know, a million years ago. And that reminded me that I had a blanket that I had started crocheting also not a million years ago. I'm pretty sure I looked back and I think it was 2019 when I started crocheting this blanket. It's called the Dutch Rose blanket by, I can't remember what her name is, but she's Cypress Textiles on Instagram. I'll put a link down below to as for everything else, links for all the patterns, designers, makers, dyers, etc. I'll put that all down below. What was I talking about? The Dutch Rose blanket. And it was a whole bunch of crocheted hex C's joined together. And then what makes it interesting is there's like granny stripe on the top corner or bottom corner. I can't remember which corner it's supposed to be on. I think it's the top corner. So anyway, I worked on that for a long time and then I started knitting and then I forgot about it. But the hexies have actually all been joined for probably 2 years. And then I picked it up probably about a year ago and just did all the stripes, crocheted the granny stripes in the corner. And all the ends from all the hexies had all been weaved in, but I just needed to weave in the ends from the granny stripe, and I just hadn't. Well, I mean, there's supposed to be a border around the whole thing, but it's huge. And the fact that it has taken me 3 years to get this far was like, no, I'm not putting a border on this. It's just ridiculous. So I finally just took it out and sat down, and it took me half an hour to weave in all the ends from the granny stripe. And now my Dutch Rose blanket is complete. I'll put a picture up here. Well, hopefully I will have been putting some pictures along the way. I took a whole bunch of pictures of it the other day because I was so proud of myself that I finally finished this behemoth of a blanket. All of the yarn that I used was all Stylecraft Special DK. It's all acrylic yarn. It's very nice, very soft acrylic yarn. But yeah, it is living on our couch now, and I got rid of the old ugly blanket that I had crocheted for Dave a million years ago. Yeah, I can't remember. I think that was all I had to say about that one. I'm trying so hard to get to the end of this ribbing. Okay, so my next 2 FOs are teacher gifts. because it's almost the end of the year, school year, and we're ending school a little early this year. Our kids are missing the last 2 weeks of school because we're going away on holidays. For Dave's work, he gets a 6-week sabbatical every 5 years that he's with the company. So this year is our sabbatical. So we're going to Spain for a month, and we are going to be leaving halfway through June to try and avoid the crowds as much as possible. I know it's still going to be crazy busy, but well, at least for a couple weeks, maybe not everyone will be there. So yeah, so I had to get my teacher gifts done a little earlier, and it was also their nice, stupid noisy UPS truck. Oh, and then he's parking a few doors down. Anyway, they were nice, just garter projects, and I knit them both while we were kind of like in limbo living at my mother-in-law's house, and just I didn't have to think about them because I had zero mental capacity at that point. And I am almost at the end of this, and then I can pick those up and show you. What else can I? Sorry, I'm just gonna have to a little ASMR here watching me knit to the end of this ribbing. Almost there, almost. Sorry if this is really boring. I don't know, I like watching other people knit, so I don't think that should have been too painful for the knitters out there. Maybe for my friends who watch that don't knit, they're like, dude, get on with it. Okay, so I have, the first one is, this is the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. I've talked about that before, about how I don't usually knit petite patterns if I can avoid it, but I've had this pattern for a million years, so I'm still gonna use it. I'm not paying any more money for anything. So this is the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit, and the yarn is Lilac Bush by Polka Dot Creek, and it is the fingering weight, and I just held it double. So it's very cute. My son's teacher's favorite color is purple. Well, now I'm just choking myself, and I don't know how people usually wear it, but I usually just kind of do a little something like that. So that's cute. So she loves purple, so she's hopefully gonna love that. She's very knit-worthy, as I've mentioned before. I've made her lots and lots of knits, and she always wears them. So yeah, I said everything about that one. My older son's teacher wears scarves at school every day, like wraps once around and then like thin scarves or whatever. So I made her the Sweet Scarf by Along Avec Anna. And this one is super easy because you just like start out, do some increases, and then you're just knitting flat the whole way. And when you get to the end, decreases, and then you're done. And then you add little tassels on in the end. So it's really cute. I like the tassels on the end. They kind of give it a little zhuzh. It's not super long, mainly because I didn't want to spend 8 million years knitting it. But I think, I don't know, if she hates it, she doesn't have to wear it. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe she won't wear it. Maybe she'll just wear it like this with the tassels hanging down like that, maybe. Or maybe she won't wear it. I don't know. I did my part. So Sweet Scarf by Along Avec Anna, and the yarn I used the dyer is now called Little Skein. She's gone through a few different names, like Little Skein Anne and Little Skein in the Woods, I think, at one point. Anyway, it's called Little Skein now, and I'll put the link below. You can't get this colorway. This was a kind of a limited edition colorway from a few years ago, but her yarn is really, really nice. It's very tonal, and she speckles really, 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 really lightly. So if you're into that, like really light speckling as opposed to like dye exploded everywhere, then I recommend her. She's in the San Francisco area, I believe. Okay, my next defo. I talked about this a while ago, but then by the time I was talking about it on my podcast, excuse me, I had already packed it and it went away into storage for a while. So I finally have it back. And this is the muscle bra that I made. The muscle bra is by Isolde Teague. And this is, oh, can you even see the sparkles a little bit? There, you can see them a little bit right there. Anyway, the whole thing is sparkle. This is Sea Turtle Fiber Arts, who's a local yarn dyer in Calgary. I didn't even say that at the beginning. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Sarah is Sea Turtle Fiber Arts, and this is her sparkle sock base. This color was called, I think it was called A Million Dreams or something like that. I looked on her website before I started this, and it's not available on there anymore, but it's like whites and grays and then rainbow speckles all over. And this is what it looks like when you pull the whole thing out. The giant bean. Yeah, I tried something with, like, I started it out the regular way with a muscle bra, and again, with a muscle bra, I don't do the like finicky magic hole cast on or whatever they call it. I just cast on the 8 stitches on my DPNs and just start increasing, and then I go back and sew the little hole shut. It's not a big deal. So if you're afraid of doing muscle bras, don't be afraid. You can just skip that part and nothing bad will happen, I promise. So then once I got to the other end, I wanted to see if I could make it like the top with the flat, sort of like Tori Yu has a lot of hat patterns like that, where it's like you decrease in the middle and it's like flat at the top. So I tried that. I went in, I have a few of her patterns, and I tried that, but it's like with fingering weight yarn, it was like, it's kind of pokey. It kind of looks like cat ears. So I tried it. It didn't really work out very well. So that's the end that I fold into the inside. And yeah. So anyway, it has lots of really fun rainbow speckles in it. I love it. So that's my other muscle bra that I finished a long time ago, but I haven't been able to show you because I packed it. And my last one is something you guys have never seen before. Well, you've seen the yarn. I bought the yarn recently when I went to Toronto. Look at it glowing. You can't even see it, but it's glowing on my shirt. I went to Toronto recently. After we went to Columbia, we were in Toronto, and I went to the, oh shit, what was it called? Unit, Toronto, with my friend Sheena. Sorry, I always want to call her Tina. Sheena. She is This Girl Knits on Instagram. And we went to a yarn store together, and I got La Bien-Aimée fingering weight, her like unbelievably gorgeous Flora Morganite color. And with it, I made this. Look how cute it is. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so cute. Okay, so here's what I did with this. I used the Outline Tank pattern by Jessie Martinson. And so I used that stitch count, and I followed actually almost everything in the pattern except for I knit it flat up to here, and then afterwards I added button bands and buttons, because I just really like, I've seen a few patterns around that like that button in the front instead of just being a tank top, and I really like that look, so I wanted to try it. And I couldn't, there were a few that I could find on Instagram, but I tend to shy away from patterns where it looks really good on the model or the designer in the pattern pictures and then looks like shit on everyone else in the pattern, in the projects on Ravelry. And that was the case with whatever I could find. It looked amazing on the pattern designer or the model in the, and then looked like shit on everyone else. So I was like, well, I don't want that to happen. So I had the idea of just using the outline tank pattern because I've made that one a number of times and it's great, but just knitting it flat instead of knitting in the round, because then once you get up here, this part's knit flat anyway, like the top cup and the straps and the back, like it's mirrored in the back, those decreases for the, and so that's what I did. I just knit flat until I got to the point where I was supposed to put stitches on hold and start doing these. And here I just followed the pattern. Here and in the back, I just followed the pattern. And I didn't do the drop stitch. I just skipped that. So yeah, that's what I did. I was a little concerned. I made the smallest size and I used the needle recommended, and usually I have a lot of trouble with her gauge. I'm usually like way off, like the things that I make, like if I follow her recommended needle, the things I make are way too big usually. So I used the recommended needle size for this, and as I was knitting it, I was like, this doesn't look very big. And I kind of tried it on as much as was possible because it didn't have any straps or anything, but I like measured it and I was like, this isn't gonna be very big. But I kept going because I know that you can block fairly aggressively, and I blocked it and it fits nice. Like there's not a lot of ease, but it's not tight, so I'm very happy with it. I have actually already cast on another one, which I'll show you in my whips. So yeah, I think those are the only modifications that I made. I think actually I made the straps a little bit thicker than they are in the pattern. Like I just stopped decreasing a little bit sooner so that there was more stitches, so that the straps would be wider. But what I didn't do, which I've made note of and I'm gonna do on my second one, is so when you're doing the decreases here, it almost looks like a mock like I-cord edge, but then up here you're not doing decreases, like you're slipping a stitch on the ends to create sort of like a slip stitch edge, but it's still stockinette, right? So it rolls in. So I think on my next one I'm gonna do like a 3-stitch, just do the I-cord edging, like not pick it up and do I-cord edging, but just do the I-cord. As soon as like I'm not decreasing here anymore, then I'll start doing like a 3-stitch I-cord edge on each side, and then it will, because it like kind of rolls in and then you can see the bra strap. So this was my prototype, and the next one will be better. Yeah, so very happy with that. And I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about with that one. Okay, on to whips. My first one I'll show you is, oh no, I didn't have any bags to show you yet. This is living in my Fringe Supply Co. bag that Shelly gave me, Shelly from Polka Dot Creek. If you're new here, I used to work at Polka Dot Creek as a yarn dyer, and then I had to not work there anymore because of my hands. So anyway, Shelly gave me this for my birthday one year. Fringe Supply Co. does not make bags anymore, but you can buy the kits and the pattern to make them yourself at Grain Line Studio, and I'll put that link below. This is my front porch sweater by, I don't remember his name, but he's Pearl Gem on Instagram. I'll put the link to the Ravelry page below for the pattern. It's called the front porch sweater. It is almost done. So close, so fucking close. Ugh, really makes me mad when I run out of yarn and it's like this close. So I had 2 full skeins of fingering weight. I had 3 skeins of the suri. So I still have, oh, I must have put the suri away already. I still have lots of, not lots, but like probably half a skein of the suri left. But I ran out of fingering weight yarn. So here's what we've got so far. There's the body. The body has been blocked because I blocked that a while ago to make sure that the size was big enough, because the cables were making everything go and I was worried that it was too small. So I blocked it and it's fine. The sleeves have not been blocked, so they're all mangled. But I finished one sleeve. The sleeves on this sweater have been an ordeal. The way that this pattern is written, I'm not gonna say exactly, but you're supposed to pick up like this armhole before it's an enormous armhole, first of all. Second, like he says, like he gives you a rate of picking up, and like it would have been anyway, the armhole was huge and I did not want my sleeve to be that big. So I picked up less stitches than he recommended. And even then, and then in the pattern, it was knit straight for however many inches and then rapid decreases. So it was like a big barrel and then all of a sudden rapid increases. And I was like, that's gonna look super fucking weird. And this is another thing. Trust your gut. When you look at Ravelry and things fit weird, yours is gonna fit weird. Like I looked at all there weren't a lot of project pages for this one, but I looked at them and they all looked like the sleeves looked kind of bunchy and a little weird. And I was like, well, I don't know, maybe it's just the way they're standing or whatever, but yeah, I don't know, maybe that's how you like it, but I don't like it like that. So I started increasing immediately as soon as I decreasing immediately as soon as I picked these up. And I was going slowly and it was still very wide. So then I started decreasing faster. And so I still kind of got that, like what it would have originally looked like if it was really wide and then fast increases. Not quite as severe, but so it does bunch up a little bit here underneath, but it's also when I put it on, but it's also not blocked yet, so it might drape a little bit better. I don't fucking know. Anyway, I got my second sleeve on and it's so close. Like it doesn't look like that long of a sleeve, but when you fold it on top of the other sleeve, let me see, line these up. It's I've only got that much more to go and I ran out of my fingering weight. So the yarn I'm using is the fingering weight is Polka Dot Creek pistachio colorway, and the suri, I wish I knew where the rest of my suri is, but it's like sort of the same, minty greeny blue. So yeah, I'm waiting for my next fingering. I ordered a mini of the pistachio and I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. I posted on Instagram and asked if anyone had a mini skein of pistachio in Calgary, and someone wrote me, her name was Jen, I think. So if you watch this, hi, thank you so much. She lives in Airdrie and works in Calgary. So she said she would go get one for me and bring it into work. And so she did, and I went and picked it up from her. The problem is pistachio is a bit of an ornery bitch. And every time you dye it, it turns out a little bit different. It's very sensitive. I don't know what it's sensitive to, if it's like the pH level of the water that day, how fast it gets heated. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it turns out really green, sometimes it turns out really blue, sometimes it's kind of in the middle and blue with like green speckles. Like it's very unreliable. So Jen, I think it was Jen, went and got me a skein, and she brought it, and it was 100% not the right color. Like, it's the pistachio, it's that colorway, but it's like basically not lime green, but it was very, very green. And even if I held it together with the Surrey, it would have looked like I had like a green sleeve from here to the end. So I texted Shelly and I asked her if she had any more bluey kind of pistachio minis, and she said they had one. So I ordered it online and just had her put it in the mail to me, and I am waiting for that to arrive so I can finish this fucking sleeve. And then next time, hopefully, I will have an FO to show you. Yes. It's pretty though, right? Yeah. I was knitting that as part of a knit along. Oh, here it is. It's still attached. It was on the floor. So that's my Surrey. It was a one of a kind from Polka Dot Creek. They had some leftover dye and threw some Surrey in, and this is what turned out. So, what was I just gonna say? What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, it was part of a knit along, put on, co-hosted by my friend Britt, who lives in Salt Lake now. She used to live in San Francisco. That has nothing to do with it. So her and I have been Instagram friends for a long time. We kind of learned how to knit together, like got to know each other and learned how to knit together on Instagram. Me and Britt and my friend Karen, who I went to Knit City Montreal with. So Britt and another friend named Tara Lynn, who is a beautiful yarn dyer in California. Her yarn company is Playful Day Yarns, and she makes beautiful, beautiful, like pastel-y, neutrally, just gorgeous, gorgeous colors of yarn. Go check her out. I'll put her link below. So Tara Lynn and Britt were co-hosting a sweater knit along, and so I joined. I wasn't using Playful Day yarn, but you could still join in the knit along that was being hosted by Playful Day Yarn. And the last day of the Cal was the end of April, whatever the last day of April was, the 30th or 31st, I can never remember which was which. And I was this close. I almost finished within the Cal time, but it doesn't really matter. It's gonna take me like 20 minutes once I get my yarn to finish, and then it'll be done. That was a long time talking about that. Sorry about that. Okay, my next whip I will show you is my Juno top, and it is living in this beautiful bag. This was actually also a gift from Shelly at Polka Dot Creek last Christmas. Yes, I think. When I used to have Christmas parties at Polka Dot Creek, Shelly always gives really amazing presents, and she got us all bags like this from her name. She's not making bags right now, I don't think. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh, I'm gonna take my pattern out so you can't read it. The name is, I don't know if you can see that. Mishnak, I think is how you pronounce it. She was making a lot of bags, and then I don't think she has been making them lately. I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully everything's okay. She makes a lot of paper, rifle paper and Harris tweed, and some bags with just Harris tweed, and some she made beautiful, beautiful bags. Anyway, this was a gift from Shelly for Christmas last year. And this over here was a gift from my friend Krista, who I worked with at Polka Dot Creek. And she made these cute little embroidery things for everyone. They're so cute. So that lives on the bag. Yeah, okay. So this is my Juno top. I'll put a picture up here so you can get a better sense of what this is going to look like at the end, because right now it's basically just a tube. I'm doing this strappy version, and I'm actually, I think I'm kind of turning the corner, almost done. I'm just in the middle of doing short rows to make a dart, which I've never done before, and also in pattern, which is interesting. So I wouldn't recommend this for a beginner knitter, that's for sure, but the pattern's not hard. So as long as you know how to do the pattern on the wrong side and the right side, then you're a-okay. But yeah, I was gonna skip doing the short rows because like you just basically knit in pattern up to your full bust, so right here. And then you do short rows. It's just German short rows, but short rows to build up here. So it's basically like you're building yourself a bust dart. So I was gonna skip it, and then I was like, meh, I know how to do short rows. I know I can do the pattern on the wrong side. And I've never done a bust dart in any of my garments that I've ever made. So I was like, well, let's see how it goes. I'm about halfway through the short rows. I don't know if you can see here. Anyway, so this is what it's looking like so far. And I love this color. This is it's just an all over texture. It's like a 5-stitch repeat. It's not hard. But it is 2 separate rows. So one row is a pattern row, and the second row is like a rest row where you're just basically doing sort of ribbing. But it's sometimes hard. The stitches are very similar, and sometimes it's hard when you're reading your stitches to know if the last row was a pattern row or a rest row. So I was having trouble with that. Like I would knit on it and then I would put it down and then not be able to read my stitches to know if I was currently on a pattern row or a rest row. So I thought I was a complete genius for coming up with this idea. I mean, I think lots of people have their own versions of this idea, but what I came up with is, luckily, I have a large stash of Ocean Loops progress keepers and stitch markers. And so what I came up with is when I'm at this is my beginning of round marker, my BOR. So when I got to the end of the round, I would take off, I'm not explaining this very well because my mind is going 80 miles an hour and it's all trying to come out of my mouth at the same time. So the pom-pom is for pattern, P for pattern, P for pom-pom. So when I would get to the end of my rest round, I would change out the marker and I would put in the pom-pom marker so that, okay, I'm knitting, I'm putting it down and I pick it up and I'm like, oh yeah, was I on a pattern round or a rest round? If the pom-pom marker is on here, that means I'm on a pattern round. And if I'm on a rest round, come off of here, my other marker. So yeah, that was an Ocean Loops pom-pom marker. And my other marker is this one, also from Ocean Loops, and just so happens to match my project pretty much perfectly. That's what happens when you have lots and lots of lolly Ocean Loops stitch markers, is that you always have one that matches your project. So when I'm on a rest round, I use my red stitch marker, R for rest, R for red. That's just, I don't know if that shows you how smart I am or how dumb I am, that I need R for rest and P for pattern, or yeah, anyway. It's working for me. Do whatever works for you. Lots of people just like add an extra, might add an extra light bulb to their BOR or something. I know there's lots of stitch markers that have like knit 2 together and slip knit so that you can mark those on your socks where you're doing decreases and stuff. So this is just another version of that, but I felt like I was a fucking genius when I came up with that idea. All these other markers on here are just marking like I said, it's a 5-stitch repeat. So I put a marker in every, I didn't want to put one in every 5 stitches because that's a lot of slipping markers, but I did put one in every 10 stitches so that I know there's 2 pattern repeats in between, just so that if I get lost in my repeat or I'm not sure which stitch I'm on, I don't have to like go all the way back and figure out where I messed it up. Anyway, It's sort of like one of those lace knitting hacks where you put a stitch marker for each repeat, and then you know if you messed up, it's within that repeat because the one before that was okay. Anyway, I am almost done I shouldn't say almost done. I'm about halfway through. I was trying to show you where, so you can sort of see here where it starts going a little bit sideways. Those are my short rows, which are making my bust dart. Anyway, once I'm done that, then I think I just do a few more rounds, and then I put the straps on. And then at the end, after I've finished all my knitting, then I pick up and crochet the little scalloped edges around the neckline and the sleeves, which I love so much. I think it's gonna be so cute. Anyway, I talked all that time and didn't say what yarn I'm using. This is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. So it is 100% burette silk, burette? I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know. Anyway, and the colorway is called Blood Orange. I think it's just the most amazing color. It's so cool. So yeah, it's 100% silk, but it's not like crunchy. Like, it feels really soft. It's really nice to work with. It's not all splitty and gross. So yeah, highly recommend. This yarn I also got when I went to Toronto to Unit Toronto with Sheena. So yeah, that is my Juno top. So hopefully this Juno top and that front porch sweater will both be done by next time, because they're both very close. What is this? Oh, this, let me go back to the front porch sweater and show you the difference. So this is the sweater. This is the other pistachio that I got. And you can tell it is absolutely not the same. It is like, you can see there's some like scummy sort of speckles and stuff in here where the dye broke. And like, I like that, but it's like, if I kept going, where did I put that suri? Oh, I lost the suri again, guys. There it is. If I hold these two together, it will not make this. No. And I don't know, a lot of people would just do it and be done with it, but I have put all this effort into this sweater. Like, that was a lot of cabling. That, like, it took a lot of pumping myself up to do these sleeves. I did not want to do these sleeves. They were supposed to be cabled sleeves. And I was like, well, I'm never gonna finish this sweater if I have to do them cabled. And so I decided to just knit them stockinette. And yeah, I'm happy about that because I'm actually gonna finish these sleeves. Okay, those are, oh yeah, my second, I mentioned that I cast on another one of these. And this is living in this amazing bag from Creek Gardens Crafts. It's Penny. And it is this awesome Tula pink fabric with the owls, like light purple and pink, and like, I just love it. I love it so much. Okay, so I cast on another one of those. That's what I was desperately trying to finish that round of ribbing. So it doesn't look like much yet because I just cast it on yesterday while I was watching Top Gun. So this is what it looks like now. So it's just a bit of a more neutral one for when I'm not feeling like wearing a like neon top. This yarn I got in San Diego at Apricot Yarn Shop, and it's very pretty. It's sort of like the yarn I made, sort of like the color of that scarf that I made for my son's teacher, but I actually have a second skein of it. Where did I put that? Okay. I was going to show this in my acquisition section, but that's coming up soon. So this is what it looks like in skein form. It's kind of getting a little blown out, but it's like light blues and a little bit of like sandy color, but it's got some fun speckles in it, just the way that the dye broke. Like, look at those little speckles down there. and some like little mustardy speckles and some blues and greens. I just really, really love, like, look at those in there. It's a really, really fun color. The dyer is called Ba yarn, and La Jolla, I think, is the base. The lady in the yarn store told me that this dyer used to be in San Diego, and so all of her bases are named after like areas around. La Jolla is an area around San Diego. But I think she lives, or they, I shouldn't say she, they live, I think, in Arizona now or something, but all of her bases are still like named after San Diego. So this is the La Jolla base, which is 100% superwash merino, and it's 400 yards. And the colorway is called Green as the Color. I don't know, I don't really see it as green. I think it's more of a bluey, maybe it's a greeny blue. I don't know, doesn't really matter. This is what it looks like in the cake. And yeah, this is how far I have gotten, just the ribbing. So I've got a lot of flat knitting to do. I'm gonna make my next one maybe an inch-ish longer than that one. That one's pretty cropped. And so yeah, the only things I'm gonna do different on this one, I'm making a bigger size because I want it to be more sort of boxy-ish. And with the I-cord on the straps. So stay tuned for that one. And I think it's gonna be really pretty. I had quite a bit of this yarn left over, actually. This was from the one skein, probably at least 20 grams left over. The yardage on this is less for sure. I think that La Bien-Aimée yarn was like 460-ish yards per skein. This one's 400. But I think I should still be able to get away with just one skein because I had quite a bit of that La Bien-Aimée left over. But just in case, I have a backup. And then if I don't need this, I can make a musselburg out of it because I think it would be amazing. Anywho, my last whip I don't have with me because it's very difficult to show on camera now because it's getting so big. But I will take a picture of where I'm at with it. This is my Sweet Shop blanket that I am using the Blanket Club yarn for. I'm using the Blanket Club yarn from Polka Dot Creek, which is a monthly, well, it's a monthly subscription, but you get 3 months at a time. So it's like a quarterly subscription, I guess. Every month you get 9 10-gram minis, all in one color family, and it's sort of going in like rainbow-ish order. So each stripe in my blanket is a month. So the very first stripe, the top stripe, pink stripe, is January, and then every stripe below that is all the months. I'm way ahead because it's really, 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 really fun to knit. I haven't knit a ton on it over the past month or so, but I am still making progress. I am about halfway through August. But it's so pretty. Once I finish August and September, hopefully Shelly and the ladies will be done dyeing the last quarter because I'm gonna need to finish it. Shelly, Krista, get busy. And let me know when they're done and I'll come and pick them up. So yeah, that is the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose, and the Blanket Club by Polka Dot Creek. I think you can still order all of the quarters of the Blanket Club if you love it. Just go check out the Polka Dot Creek website. I'll put that down below. And I think those were all of my whips. I think. Yeah, so for acquisitions, I only have a couple of acquisitions. I just showed you some of the yarn that I got at Apricot Yarn Shop in San Diego. I got one other skein of yarn of that same base from that same dyer, Ba yarn and La Jolla base. I had to buy this one because it just immediately reminded me of Nicole. Prof Pearl, my bestie, my sister from another mister, who I haven't met in person yet, but we're going to flock together. Yay! Flock Festival, or Fiber Festival, I don't know what it's called. Flock, we just call it Flock. It's in Seattle in August, on my fucking birthday. Happy birthday to me. I get to meet my bestie that I've never met in person. So yay, Nicole, I'm so excited. Anyway, this reminded me of her. Again, it's blowing out. It's not nearly this light. It's very like seafoamy, minty green with amazing neon speckles all over it. And I love it so much. And Nicole is in the process, I believe, of writing a tank top pattern for kids. And I thought this would be the perfect yarn to like maybe test knit that or something. So anyway, the colorway is called Crystal Ball. And it's that same La Jolla base from Ba Yarns. And I might have purchased one other skein of yarn there. I have never ever owned Hue Loco yarn. Nicole Hue Loco is in Colorado, and she's like a ubiquitous, like massive yarn, indie yarn dyer in the industry. Everyone has heard of Hue Loco, I'm pretty sure. So they had a few, not a ton, of Hue Loco colors, and I bought this one, and it's called Ochre. And it just reminds me of, we used to have Polka Dot Creek has a colorway called Spicy Mustard, and it used to look a lot like this. And it was a mixed colorway, which means we mixed a couple of colors together to make it. And one of those colors that we used to mix it, to make it look like this, the dye changed, and it doesn't look really a lot like, it looks similar to this now, but it looks a little different. And so anyway, I bought this because it reminded me of our spicy mustard color, of Polka Dot Creek's spicy mustard color. And it's also on that the same fingering weight base as Polka Dot Creek uses. So it's 75/25 merino nylon fingering weight, 460 yards. So I know that I can get another one of these out of this too. Oh, I didn't say that one this other one that I'm making now, that I just started with this yarn. Since I have two skeins of it, I know that I could possibly just get one out of one skein and then make a musselburg with the other skein. I'm toying with the idea of maybe making it into a modified outline tee instead of an outline tank, because it starts out the same way. You just knit from the bottom up, so I can just knit flat from the bottom up and then follow the tee instructions instead of the tank instructions. So we'll see how I'm feeling. Since I have extra yarn, I have an extra skein of yarn, I could probably do that. I could not have done that with this because I only had one skein of it. So anyway, ramble. Yeah, I think that's all I had to talk about today. I would love to give you a tour of my knitting room, but it's still a little bit in shambles. This is my old yarn cube farm from my old knitting room, as you will have recognized. I got my girls. They're all set up there. There's Blanche, Rose, Sophia, and Dorothy. The girls are back and they're all set up in the new knitting room. I have a monster shelving unit over there. It's like similar to this one, but like enormous. And it's like that kind of yucky orange oak color. The previous owner of this house left it for me. She asked if I wanted it and I said yes. So she left it for me, and I was hoping to have it painted white so it would look like this, because everything else in here is like all kind of color coordinated except for that giant like oak shelving unit on that wall, and it is driving me crazy. I've asked a few painters and they were both like, yeah, it would probably be cheaper just to buy new shelving units than to have someone paint that. So it's probably just gonna stay as it is for now, because it's quite a bit of money still to buy. Like, it's a huge wall. So once the knitting room is all finished, then I'll give you a proper tour. I can maybe put up the video, I took a video and put it on Instagram of like when we had moved in. I think there was like still boxes everywhere and whatever, but you can just get a gist of the layout. And yeah, so off to do some more knitting. And what else have we got going? It's a long weekend this weekend. It was Mother's Day this past weekend. My husband gets me, and he gave me exactly what I wanted, which is that I slept in and I didn't see my children until almost lunchtime. So he got up and whisked the kids out of the house to let me sleep in, and they went off and did God knows what for the morning and just left me, and I slept in and I made myself some tea and I sat in my knitting room and knitted for a while, and then they came home, and that is exactly what I wanted from Mother's Day. For Mother's Day was to not be around my kids. Does that sound bad? Every mom needs some alone time. So that's what I got, some alone time in the morning, and then in the afternoon, my parents and my brother and my nibblings came over and we had a Mother's Day dinner, which was nice because my parents hadn't seen the house yet, and my nibblings hadn't seen the house yet, so they got to come and go for a tour, and so that was nice too. Anyway, now I'm just rambling about my life again, and some people don't want to hear about it, so I'm just kidding. Nobody has ever said that. I'm just assuming that it's boring for people, so that's why I do the whole timestamp thing. Okay, I'm over an hour, so I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna go have some lunch and I'm gonna edit. And thank you for sticking around. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for coming back and watching this if you've been waiting for me for a while. If you had completely forgotten about me and were like, oh, she has a new video, then welcome back. And if you're new and stuck around here for this long, then thank you. I hope you liked it, and I hope you'll stick around for some more. And yeah, happy knitting, and I'll see you next time.